Our final ghost town in Montana is Comet, a ghost town far from Montana's goldfields, a ghost town whose primary ore was silver.
Comet is a town in danger. I have a wonderful photograph in my Mountain West book of its mill in a kind of foggy morning light. Well, that wasn't fog, it was smoke. This is in an area where there have been lots of forest fires, and I worry about Comet every time I see a picture of it, because it's wooden. The entire town, which is made up of lots of miners' shacks and a big mill and a two-story boarding house and a general store, all are terribly vulnerable. And I really am concerned. When I was there and smelling smoke, there was this kind of ominous feeling that I had, even though the light was eerily beautiful. I was aware that I might be in a town I'd never see again.
On our way to Comet, wondering if there would be anything left for us to find, we stumbled upon an unexpected gem. Basin, Montana, a town near Comet that briefly was a hub of gold and silver mining. Basin's population peaked at about 1,500 in the first decade of the 20th century, but gradually declined as the mines played out. Today, it is something of an artist colony and well worth visiting for the abandoned mining equipment and vehicles, and for its easily accessible picturesque mine portal. On the west end of the town sit the remains of the Glass Brothers' 1903 smelter. One ancient stack still reaches skyward, while its brother lies collapsed nearby. But the ghosts of Comet still beckoned. We drove the 4.5 miles on High Ore Road. Then, in front of us, appeared the ghost town's first building. Comet was still there. We proceeded through the rugged old roads of this once booming mining town.
My first impression of Comet as far as the supernatural was that there may be something there. And maybe that's because of the buildings being in such decay. Kind of gives you that extra feel of a ghostliness. You know it's not going to be there much longer, and maybe that the spirits are crying out, save our town. The hotel especially, and around the hotel, kind of felt a heaviness in the air.
I'd have to say a place like Comet, Montana would rate as one of my favorites too, because it is so intact and with one resident, and that's just a caretaker. You know, it's like the people just walked away. There's still furniture in those houses, you know? And being able to walk in those buildings and really see what it was like when there's still furniture there and there's still, it gets my imagination running, you know. Why didn't they just walk away? Where'd they go? What were these people like? Well, this was a nice house. Why would they just leave? Why did they leave their stove? Why did they leave their bed?
In 1876, the town was platted and surveyed. It consisted of 12 blocks laid along 3 east-west streets and 3 north-south streets. 1 year later, the Comet Post Office opened. The Comet mine was barely profitable through the rest of the decade and narrowly weathered the silver panic and depression of 1893. The mine was sold several times in the early 1900s. Although most precious metals had been mined out by then, the mine continued to produce valuable lead, zinc, and iron, During these prosperous years, Comet boasted more saloons, 22, than the school had children, 20. In 1926, the Basin, Montana Tunnel Company took over the mine and built a 200-ton flotation mill ore concentrator. At the time, the mill was called the most modern in Montana. Mining continued at Comet through the Great Depression, employing about 50 men, and was considered the largest mining venture in Montana outside of Butte. However, after World War II, the mine closed forever, and the town became a ghost. Today, the best structures are the residences on the hill. The fabulous mill and two-story dormitory, the haunted two-story boarding house, and one other unusual building.
It does have a sort of unofficial caretaker, and I'm glad. There is in this town one, like a double-wide mobile home. And I knew he was watching me the whole time. And I'm grateful for that, because I mean no harm, and I'm only taking pictures. But if I had taken out something like an axe or something, he'd have been there in a big hurry. But it's absolutely, it's vulnerable, but it's beautiful.
Hi, I'm Bill Ambrose. If you like this video, subscribe so we can bring you more programming from our studio. Thank you for subscribing.